Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Duel of Screens Gamescast PAX East 2020 Coronavirus Edition. I am one of your hosts, Stephen Fontana, and with me, as always, he is Andy Asimakis. How are you, Andy?
It was a very quiet PAX East this year.
It was.
I'm not really sure what was going on that could have, made that happen.
There was a lot of room for activities.
Yes, there was.
A lot of room for activities. In all seriousness, PAX definitely felt a little different this year from years past, especially last year. Way less people, way less crowded. No Microsoft, no Sony.
No anyone of like AAA.
No AAAs really at all. I mean, Square Enix showed up to show some stuff, which we'll talk about. But the indies showed up pretty strong because they have stuff they want to show and all that fun stuff. But for those of you that are new, this is the Gamescast. This is going to be a different episode than normal. Normally, which we post every Monday, we go over the news that you need to know. But today, we're just going to go about what we have seen so far. This is day 3. This is the conclusion of day 3. So, for those of you who don't know, that means we've done this for 3 days and have seen quite a few games.
Too many.
So
all good ones though. All great games.
All great games. And if you like this content, believe me, the normal one sounds a lot better. We are doing this out of a hotel room with a makeshift microphone set up, makeshift everything.
We have a microphone attached to a microphone.
Yes, we have a microphone attached to a microphone right now. I wish I was joking. The first day for the media hour, we decided we were going to get the big guns out of the way, which we did. Mm-hmm. And we started off with the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. Andy, thoughts?
Oh my god, it was... Seeing it, like, on a YouTube video is one thing, but actually getting it in your hands and playing it was a whole other experience, and it was so buttery and so silky smooth, and the music just sends you back, like, years ago, and that combat... Just the victory fanfare is missing from the whole experience.
I think it's there when you level up.
Okay, I didn't catch that.
I think no, you don't level up, but I think I think that's what's going to happen is when you level up and you go into the screen. I think that's when it's going to start doing that.
But the weird thing was that they didn't allow any pictures or video.
No pictures, no video, and they yelled at you about it.
Of a demo that was shown at last year's E3.
Right.
So
Weird.
I don't get it. It was the strangest thing.
It could be that because the game isn't. It could be that is literally last year's demo.
Yes.
And they didn't have an updated build, and they don't want people showing video of last year's build if the build is better. Okay. Now, okay. That was what I was guessing. Mm-hmm. So I think that might be why. For me, I thought it was great. It played really well. It had a little bit of a screen door effect when you got close, like the jaggy hair kind of thing, but other than that, I mean, it was fine. It was really good. Voice acting is cheesy as always, as you would expect from a JRPG. But man, it was gorgeous. Combat is so fluid.
That boss fight was so tense.
Boss fight was tense. It was fun.
Yeah, it's multi-layered.
Yeah. So then after that, we went over to Predator Hunting Grounds.
Yeah.
Which we were worried wasn't going to be there because they were part of Sony's thing. So then they went over into another booth, and there were a couple of kiosks. We got to play. Andy got to play as Predator, and I played with some of the team there as the squad.
The fire team.
The fire team.
Yeah.
This again isn't. They said outright that it was an older build. So certain things are a little bit different, a little bit cleaner. For me, I thought the core gameplay is very good. It feels really good to play. I was playing on... Was I playing on a controller? I think I was.
I was.
Yeah. So we were playing with 360 controllers into a PC, or Xbox controllers in a PC. It just... The shooting didn't feel... like a top tier shooter. It felt more like a mid tier, like a Killzone, rather than a Call of Duty.
You were saying as like a tactical team, the precision wasn't really there with the aiming and the firing. It was like a little.
You might want to get closer.
It was a little like spraying effect. You weren't
as you didn't have a lot of control over what you were doing. But yeah, we It was fun, and Andy barely won, like so
But I
barely.
won.
He had like
It
that
was a
much health
sliver of
left,
health.
like that much health left. But whatever.
Now I was Predator, which was amazing because being playing in a gun is one thing, but actually controlling the Predator himself is amazing because he had two things. He had his iconic little slasher claw device and his arm cannon laser beam situation, and he could go in his stealth camo. But you could still see me though if I camoed out in front of you, which was kind of annoying.
Yeah, I was able to follow you. You know, eventually, if you got further enough away, I wouldn't be able to see you.
Right.
But yeah, I was able to see you if you were disappeared up close.
I had the heat detection, the heat sensor vision, and I could do a lock on, see where you were in the general area, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, and one of the things that we can do is we could look at the mud, and we could smear mud on ourselves so that we would camouflage ourselves from his heat
And I
vision.
couldn't see you guys, yeah.
Yeah.
And I could kill random NPCs on the map for this extra, I guess, intimidation factor. Ripping their
You
skulls out.
probably get some like
Yeah.
power or
Yeah,
something out of
Predator
it.
points.
Yeah, street cred, as it were.
Right. But
All right,
I was like that close, and you guys, you were about to escape, and I got you.
we almost escaped, but it was fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
Mhm.
Specialized classes. I was just their typical run of the mill soldier, but there's like medics, there's engineers. You have to do a bunch of different goals to succeed in the mission. You have to infiltrate a base, and you have to plant a virus. Then you have to take out some comm links, and then after you do that, and all of this while the predator is chasing you around, and then after that you got to get to an extraction point, and we all got to the extraction point where one guy went off ahead of all of us. He got killed by Andy, and then the two other guys showed up, and then I came up behind him, and right as I was about to kill Andy, he made a beeline for me, ripped my skull out. And then the other
Oh, that was
guys,
you at the end?
I was the second to last guy you killed.
Gotcha.
And then there was another guy behind that was kind of like jumping around,
Mm-hmm.
and you were able to kill him, but he had like just a tiny sliver of health left, so that kind of sucked. But that was pretty good. And then we went and saw Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that was cool. So we got our pins first, the little Isabel pins, which there was a little bit of a ruckus around these pins. So they ran out of pins apparently on the first day, and use your little Nintendo QR code to check in, you get your pin, and then it was like by registration only, which is bad for most folks. But once we got to play the game for about, I don't know, like 10, 15 minutes or so.
It was a half an hour demo.
Right. It's a hard game to actually demo because we were on a team. I had
They were doing the 4-player
a
co-op.
bug bite in my eye. I was blind in one eye, and it's cute. It's Animal Crossing, but you can't show the full range of gameplay in a half hour.
Yeah. But it was fine. You know, the booth was great. Xavier Woods was there today, competing on the other side, doing some Luigi's Mansion stuff. I told him not to embarrass me. He looked right at me and pointed at me. Said, "Don't you dare embarrass me, Xavier Woods." The commish. The commish. Yeah, so then we kind of just went about our appointments. So what do you want to talk about? Let's see.
Well, the first
are these
thing
the
we
right
saw
ones?
was She Dreams
These aren't the right
Elsewhere,
ones. Here we go.
which was
We don't have to go in order. Let's just talk about what we
well,
want to
that
talk
was
about.
that was one of my favorite things I saw
Okay.
that day.
Yeah, She Dreams Elsewhere. Go ahead.
It was a super cute, like an Earthbound type RPG. You play as this girl, and her dog goes missing, and you gotta chase it down. But it's like not your dog; it's a demon dog, and then your friends kind of tag along with you, and it has like that classic sort of again that Earthbound gameplay with a really simple color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Really kick-ass soundtrack. It's trippy as balls. Again, just like Earthbound, made by one guy, solo dev. It's a recurring theme for PAX, but a lot of solo devs this weekend. But yeah, it was a great kickoff to some really great indie games that we saw for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and we did an interview there that we did put up on social media, but we're also going to do a refined package on YouTube. One of the highlights for me was Foregone.
Oh yeah.
So Foregone is made by Big Blue Bubble, and they are actually people that I know like through 6 Degrees of Separation kind of thing. But their game is pretty awesome. It's like a action slasher, side-scrolling action game.
Gorgeous pixel art.
Oh, really
my
good
God.
pixel art. But it had a nice loop where you do melee to get ranged bullets. Then you can switch to range attacks, switch between. You get power ups. You get special moves. That you're kind of juggling all these cool mechanics, and it was really fluid, and I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, that was Foregone. That's one of my games of the show actually. I think that was a fantastic one. Let's see. We also saw Postal 4.
Oh, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. That guy was a trip. So Mike J, who runs Running with Scissors, who was behind the Postal games, they were there in full like hobo bathrobes because apparently you're a homeless guy whose house was like destroyed or some shit, and he has a bathrobe that's always left to his name, and he just goes and does the Postal thing.
Yeah.
He's just shooting things, pissing on things, causing mayhem, and
the interesting
blowing
thing,
shit up.
yeah, the interesting thing was that they gave him a super soaker that you could fill with piss and gasoline, but you could also put with water because they like
Just in case.
they want to give you the decision of whether or not you're going to let people on fire or let them or light people on fire or let them burn.
Right.
So it's basically just chaos. It's more of a spiritual successor, I think he said, to Postal 2.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with Postal 3, but
Sure, I guess wasn't that well
Whatever.
received. But speaking about fires, Ember was a really fun game
Ember.
we played that day. So you play. It's like a Crazy Taxi meets Firefighter. So you get alerts on your Ember app on your phone of local fires. You have to go and save people and save their shit. And based on your I guess your civilian save rating, you get an actual ranking from your customers.
it's like the Uber for firefighters,
Right.
but like you're a paid app, so like they
Yeah.
pay you if you save them.
Yep.
You don't get paid if somebody dies, and they're all just sitting there.
You get paid, but if they die, you get paid less.
Yeah, you so you go into this burning building, and they're just sitting there on their phone waiting to be rescued,
Or reading a book.
or reading a book, taking a shit, whatever
Yeah.
they're doing.
There was a guy taking an actual shit.
Yes, there was. And then you pick them up, and you could throw them out the window. You got to make sure that you have like a trampoline or something. There. Andy accidentally threw an old man into a fence, and he died.
Yeah, I broke his spine.
He broke his spine in half. But yeah, you throw them into a designated safe area, and then once you get everybody, you go to your truck and you leave. You could find their personal belongings to get extra points, or you could steal the extra belongings, sell them on the black market, and get money. But there's all different things. I also played Dungeon Defenders Awakened, which I actually really liked. It's a I'm sure you can look it up, but it's a tower defense game with action RPG elements. So you play one of 4 heroes that have a ton of different abilities, and you go around placing your defenses, and you're defending these crystals, and then the waves of enemies come, and you can physically go and fight them with one of your 4 heroes. Whichever hero you are when the wave starts is the hero you have to be. So there's a lot of juggling abilities and stuff. Like one is a mage who could throw down cold spells that like slow dudes down. There's one that could throw electricity stuff. There's the big beefy guy that could throw down like cannons and things. But it was really cool. I really enjoyed that one a lot.
I really enjoyed what we played today, Maneater. It was the first public demo of Maneater, and it's all of my shark fantasies roll into one experience. If you like Jaws or you like Jaws Unleashed, you will love this game. It is a full-blown shark RPG.
Open world. Open sea.
You begin as a mama shark who's cruising the high seas, and some asshole just is hunting you down because you're causing this general mayhem and havoc. And he rips a pup from her innards and scars it, and that's the game's main character shark. And that's the revenge backdrop of the entire game. But along the way you get to eat characters and people and fish and turtles, and I ate a gator in today's demo. It was way bigger than I was, and the main catch is you can evolve as you go along. So it's like you're a shark, you get like armor and like awesome lightning and shocking abilities. It's really bizarre for a shark RPG, but that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they cranked it up to 11.
That's a lot, yeah.
Bacon Switch.
Oh yeah,
Bacon Switch was fantastic.
it's like a less stressful version of Overcooked.
It's
and way more cute.
a more playful
Right.
like version of
It's
Overcooked.
more approachable.
Yeah. So the whole premise of Bacon Switch is you are these, I guess, bakery chefs, whatever, and there's these sentient balls of dough that you pick up and you smash them into each other, and then they grow. So like a one can be combined with another one makes a two, two to a one makes a three, blah blah blah. And you're trying to make a big one, and the biggest one you could do I think is a 30. And then once it's as big as you think it needs to be, you could put it in the oven,
Which is also sentient.
which is also sentient, and will tell you what it wants. So it'll want either the dough creature or it'll want a bird creature.
There's also dough.
Which is also made out of dough, but you have to give it the correct dough creature. But the bigger it is, and the more you put in, the more points you get, and you get rated just like in an Overcooked. You get 3 stars. You move on. There's like goals for you to hit, and then there's like these bugs that try and eat the dough, and you have to punch them.
And then you mentioned like you can get like herbs, and you can do different kinds of dough and season them differently. So it opens up when you start after the first couple levels or so. But it was really cute. I enjoyed it a lot.
We played a co-op game, Jump Axe, or Jack Axe, sorry.
You jackass.
You jackass. That was a pixelated, what is this? Bacon Switch. Only 50 cents extra at Wendy's. Interesting.
That's a good. Thanks, Buzz. Your commentary is always
Thanks,
appreciated.
Buzz. So Jack Axe was very interesting. It was pixelated platformer game where you kind of have to. You don't necessarily have to work together, really. It was kind of just like you just had an extra player.
I feel like you need to talk to your teammate, though, to say, don't do this, don't do that. Because I was doing shit, and you're like, don't stop doing that, because you're fucking me up. Like, when you would throw your axe and you would dash towards it, you would trigger, like, that booby trap.
Yeah.
And then you would die because you'd walk into the trap.
Right, yeah, because the axe actually, like, turns booby traps on. So, like, if I'm walking through... Because you could walk through it and it won't trigger, but if you hit it with the axe, it'll trigger. So, like, Andy will throw his axe, and then I'll be walking and we'll die. So, you do have to kind of communicate a little bit.
Not on purpose. It was all an accident every single time.
But it's okay. I forgive you. I forgive you. We played 2 games at one of the last booths. Where were those games? It was the one I walked away from because I had to go to the other one.
It was Res Please.
Res Please is another co-op one. I actually played that with Matt Murray, who helped us out today at PAX. That was fantastic. That was really, really good co-op play. Essentially, you're playing 2 really, really shitty wizards. Like, they're just really bad at wizardry. But you're the only 2 left. So the way you get through the level is you kind of, like, let's say there'll be like a big path that has a bunch of spikes. One brother will have to jump, impale himself, kill himself. The other brother has to jump on his back to get across, and then one of the spells you know and you're actually good at is resurrection. So then you'll res the other brother and go on. They said it was Wizard Mario Brothers.
I think the best thing I saw was when you had to have your body cut in half.
Yes.
To go on 2 switches.
Yeah.
To open up a door.
Yeah.
And then you get rezzed on the other side by your teammate.
Yeah. So there was a swinging
really
axe.
Graphic.
Yeah, it's super graphic. There was a swinging axe that one guy had to sacrifice himself, so he was split in 2. And then I picked up one half of the corpse, put it on one button, the other half on another button. It opened the gate down below. I went down below, went through the gate, then rezzed him so that he could get through there. And then you like do these alley-oops where one brother will throw the other one up, and then you can bounce off walls. It was really, really clever. I really love that. And then I went away to do another interview, and you played something else, right?
That was Cyberhook.
Cyberhook, that's right.
Which was like a Tron meets Mirror's Edge kind of game, where one hand's a hook arm, and the other is a literal. It's a finger bang gun. And
pew pew.
If you pew pew green shit, and you can hook shot blue shit, and it was very like showing off the mechanics of the game, like just the swinging mechanics and the whole. There's a time stop effect again, like Mirror's Edge. But the game will have enemies later on, but it's coming to PC, Xbox, and Switch.
Cool.
Which is really neat. But there is one game we played that I really liked. That was Grand Blue Fantasy Versus.
Yes.
Gorgeous game. It's out on Tuesday on PS4, coming out March 13th on the PC. That game was
That's out in Japan right now.
Yes.
But yeah, that was a huge hand-drawn art. Very reminiscent of like a Street Fighter 2 like championship edition. Very simple to pick up. Great character art. I know it's based on other anime franchises that
Right.
I'm just not familiar with, but yeah, it was a really cool fighter.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's Arc System Works. That's
Yeah,
the
Arc
Bla-
Sy- that's what they
Blaze
do.
Blue. That's the
Yeah.
Persona Arena games.
Dragon Ball
That's
Fighters.
really tight gameplay, gorgeous hand drawn art, huge line to play that game too,
Yep.
which I was really impressed by. What else did we play?
Genshin Impact.
The fun Breath of the Wild
Yes,
game.
that is Breath of the Wild, except if Breath of the Wild was fun. It's a massive open world action RPG where you have party members, and the big twist on this was that the combat is elemental based. So if somebody is wet, like even just got splashed with something, and you use an ice spell, they freeze, and then you can combo all these cool things together. You have your basic four elements, or at least those are the ones we played with. But if you use like your fire spell, you'll burn the grass. You could set guys on fire. You could use electricity if a guy's standing in water and electrocute them, and like, but bouncing between all four of your party members, really cool. There's a lot of collectibles, and to upgrade your characters, you find these collectibles and you put them in this like little pillar, and you can upgrade like permanent upgrades. Really cool. We were playing it on a PlayStation 4. I don't know if it was a Pro. I think it was, but it was pretty framey, and they said they're still working on that. The PC version looked way better. It was smooth 60 frames for sure. But yeah, that I'm actually excited about that because like it reminded me less of Breath of the Wild really, and had more of that. The combat felt more familiar to like the games I used to love, which is like a Dark Cloud,
Right.
or those types of action RPGs.
Well, I feel like once you get over that overworld look and the climbing mechanics, that's where like the Breath of the Wild comparisons kind of stop, because the combat is its own thing altogether.
Yeah, and it was inhabited
Right.
by people,
By many things, yeah.
by
NPCs
like,
and other things.
The
yeah.
world was full of stuff.
There was like mini challenges you can go across the way, but yeah, that was really neat. I also liked Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah, buddy. You hear that, Buzz?
We rocked that shit hard, Buzz.
Yeah, Streets of Rage 4 was
Oh my
fantastic.
god. It looked phenomenal.
Looks gorgeous. The characters are fucking cool.
We were Axel and Blade our first go around.
Yes, of course.
We went retro, we went vintage
Of
Streets
course.
of Rage,
Yeah.
which was quite nostalgic for us. And just seeing the art style again, like, wasn't a huge get for me, but playing it really was a game changer, I feel.
Yeah.
It made sense.
Yeah, there's more depth to the combat. There's like combos. Each character has their own pluses. Like one character could dash, one character could run. So the other three cannot do any of those. But like your special abilities are all different. One of the new characters, I forget his name. No, what was his name?
The big guy?
Yeah, the big
Floyd?
dude. Floyd.
Yeah, Jax. Basically
Yeah,
Jax. from
he's
Mortal
got a big
Kombat.
robotic arm that he could reach out, grab people, hold them, and walk around the stage.
He's your grappler type, basically.
Yeah, he's like your brawler grappler. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, and then we tried out Young Souls, a similar like side-scrolling like brawler to that game.
Yeah,
It's about two twins who go from the daytime, which is like gathering items and crafting weapons and gear, and then you go at nighttime to your dungeon crawling, and it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, which was really neat. You can cast magic spells,
yeah.
swing swords.
It's a looter too, so
Right,
like you're picking up
exactly.
all different weapons and
Right.
armor, and like you got your giant bastard sword that's slow and
Which
lumbering,
we
kills.
both shouldn't have rocked that. By
Whatever,
the way.
it was fun.
That was a mistake.
Listen, we found it, we used it. Did you get? When was that coming out? Was
That was winter. This
winter?
year.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Drillman Rumble.
You were really good at that game.
I was really good.
You're really
guys.
good at that
I was
game.
really good. That was fun. That's a Towerfall esque, Killer Queen esque type thing where it's up to 8 players, local and online.
Duck game esque.
Yeah, like duck game kind of. But the whole thing is that like your main weapon, your main way of attacking is a drill, and it's a lot like the queen bee in
Yeah.
Killer Queen. Like that's
Right.
what it reminded me of, like
Yeah.
the dive and stab.
Right.
But the drills you equip have different abilities. Like I picked one that bounced off of walls. So what I would purposefully do is turn my back to one of the guys, and they would go, "Oh, his back is turned." Then I would go against the wall and bounce back
Bounce
and,
right
get,
back
and,
like
and
an
right
asshole.
in their face. There's tanks.
Yeah, there's mechs on the battlefield you can pick up and like just wreck everyone with.
This is
And
like a mad dash to get the tank.
it was just 3 of us, but imagine playing with 8 people. It'd be total chaos.
He said that the map like almost doubles in size when there's 8 people, so
I
that's pretty cool.
feel like it shouldn't. Just
Keep everybody just on top
confined.
of
Like
each other.
there's corpses everywhere.
It's one-hit kills, so that you
Right.
don't have hit points.
Right.
But each character has their own special ability. Like the character I didn't even use his ability, but he could turn invisible.
I forgot how to.
Yeah, I think it was it was like the L trigger or something like that. But that game was phenomenal too. I had a blast with that.
Oh, you really liked Industries of Titan. That was one of the great
Yes,
games that you fell in love
Industries
with.
of Titan.
Yes.
Buzz, anybody in this chat, anybody listening out in the world, if you like sim builders, like Sim City builders, and also RTSs, this game is gonna blow your mind. Like, so you're a colonization company. You're not really just like tied to anything, but you're going to one of the moons on Titan or whatever. Or Titan is the moon, I forget, or Saturn, right? It's one of Saturn's moons.
Yes.
So you go there, and you set up like a little encampment or whatever, and you're like you're building, you're scavenging for relics, and the more relics you have, the more people are attracted to that settlement, and then you convert them to workers or citizens, and like it's this whole balancing act. And while you're mining the planet for its infinite resources, or the moon, and the systems that were layered, and like you're building out your influence and your territory, and then eventually you're gonna butt up against a rival corporation,
Right.
and you're gonna be like, hey, maybe don't fuck with me,
We don't
and then
do
be
that.
like, well, maybe I do want to fuck with you, and then and that's when the RTS happens. Like you start a war, and it's a lot like Civ City, or that's Civilization rather, where you have these troops, you got to send out your guys, and like the whole combat happens. I actually didn't even get to do combat because I was so engrossed in just mining.
You could enter your actual structures.
Yes, that was the other thing. So
That was like a total game changer.
yeah, so instead of just building buildings that do stuff, you build stuff within the buildings to do stuff.
It's
So
just such micromanagement.
it was so much. If you're a fucking nerd like me,
I was
you're gonna
watching
love
your
it.
OC like, trying to place things in certain places, like the OCD.
You have to Tetris
kicking in,
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you
yeah,
can't make it too tight.
totally a Buzz Killington game. That's what this whole podcast is for. It's just for one person.
And I loved the following game, so it was Phantom Brigade.
Oh
It was
yeah.
another like RTS game, but for that it was like you play as a giant mech, and you have this tech that can predict 5 seconds into the future, so you can see your enemy's kind of path, and you plan your attack around that. And it's all very cinematic, slow motion sweeping cameras, and I didn't want to stop playing it. It was that good.
It looked really cool.
Yeah.
It looked like it was gonna break my brain. We already spoke about that. Hindsight.
Yes.
Hindsight 2020, which we just put up the dev interview on our Facebook page. We're going to put it everywhere else, but I just wanted to put something on Facebook because we've basically been ignoring it the entire time we're here.
True.
But this
It's
is
all
made,
on Twitter. That's all on Twitter, guys.
Yeah, this has been made by an ex-BioWare and Sucker Punch dev who specifically wanted to make a game where consequences matter.
Right.
Your decisions have consequences, and those consequences matter. You played it.
Right. So his big thing was like having the idea of good and bad decisions kind of melting away and having more of a gray area in decision making, which he defined as, let's say you have a boss fight in the game and you could spare the boss. You cannot kill them and let them go. They can either, maybe they'll be an ally or they'll go on a murderous rampage. So like, what's the good or bad decision? Because if you kill him, then the villagers will look at you differently.
Right.
So you can play the game as a wrathful or a righteous sort of situation. You have 2 weapons. One's like a bloody sword, and one's a bow that you can repel enemies with without actually killing them. But the game tracks every little thing you do. Every enemy you kill, every enemy you spare, it all gets tracked on the back end. And it has like real... he said there's 7 endings, and there's no proper... Show a little bit. Sorry, I got corona. Now I'm corona'd. There's no true good ending. There's 7 endings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna come on the show soon.
Very soon.
We want to pick his brain about
Just
choices in games,
narrative and all that other fun stuff. But what else did we see lately? There's so many things we played in the last 3 days.
I'm looking through our Twitter so I can get a refresh.
Oh, you finally played Infernax.
Oh,
today,
yes.
Which was incredible.
Go show our prize.
And frustrating. Where is that?
It's
Oh,
it's right on top.
Yes.
So if you remember from our episode of Dual Screens podcast where we had the developer Michael of Infernax, he said that if we win a challenge, we can take something from the booth, and he suggested a Braveheart VHS. Andy and I both failed the challenge, but here's our signed copy.
Which says, if you can read that.
Which says, "Grats on sucking equally."
Yep.
Infernax 2020. There it is. Braveheart in the shrink wrap.
And even that game had some choice to it too.
Yes.
Which caught me off guard. So early on there's a villager who says he's all fucked up and he's like, "Kill me." He's begging you to kill him. So you can kill him, and what happens when you kill him, Steven?
So you kill him, and it goes into this gorgeous hand sprite made this. Oh my god, where the mace collapses the dude's face, his eyeball popping out, his teeth just shatter, just cave his fucking head in,
and you get covered in blood.
Oh, you're just covered in blood.
Now, if you
8-bit pixelated blood.
If you spare him,
yes.
He becomes a huge fucking monster.
So you don't spare him. You pray for him.
Well, you pray for him, yes.
And you unleash the demon that was buried inside him, and it becomes a boss fight.
Yep.
But it's basically if Zelda 2 and Castlevania 2 had a baby, and the baby came out really good.
You take all the suck out of those.
Yeah, you take the shit out of them.
And there's one, and you put gore in its place.
Yes.
And that's it for now.
They're really pushing the rated M for mature rating on that.
Yeah, I've never seen
highly
so much
recommended
blood in a pixel game ever.
Highly recommended. Let's see. Let's scroll through here.
You played Chivalry 2?
Yes. Oh my god.
What was that like?
Chivalry 2 is fucking awesome. Holy crap. You know, if you don't know what Chivalry is, and I really didn't, I didn't follow it, but it's essentially like Battlefield, but with melee combat.
Yeah.
You have like,
knights.
yeah, we played a simple, I think what did they say, 64 players, I think?
Mm-hmm.
So 32 on each side. Everyone's, you got your fucking mace and your axe and your shield, whatever loadout you're using, and you just siege on each other. And like our objective was to break these banners, and then if we succeeded at that, we had to break the trebuchets, and then that would be a victory, a condition of victory. And the round is 10 minutes. But I failed. But holy shit, it is so visceral. It's like if the combat in Skyrim wasn't fantastical and it was so realistic and grounded in some sort of reality.
With like actual weight to the sword swinging.
You parry and you do these lumbering. You could lose an arm and continue fighting.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. If you get downed, like I got downed a few times and not killed, but you're like slowly bleeding out, you'll crawl and you could punch people in the nuts. So like I'm crawling and I'm just like, come here, and I'm like trying to punch these dudes while I'm dying. Fantastic. Holy shit, that game's gonna be great.
We're forgetting a key developer here, Steven.
Oh yeah.
Yacht Club Games. We
Club.
saw Shovel Knight Dig. We saw Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon.
Yes,
we
did.
saw Cyber Shadow.
Yes, we did.
3 amazing games.
Yes.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
Cyber Shadow kicked my fucking ass.
Cyber Shadow's coming soon, man.
It embarrassed me. Like, I gotta just go back to this pixel games. There's 2D side scrollers just to get a little refresher course, because that kicked my balls. That was a hard demo.
Shovel Knight Dig, great. It's a roguelike. You're just going down instead of like sideways. Collecting treasure, avoiding, killing enemies, but avoiding traps. Just trying to get as far down as you possibly can. That was really cool. Gorgeous pixel art there. But then, surprisingly, which was announced, I think the day before.
Yeah.
It was Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, and that is a simple puzzle game, like pieces fall like Tetris, but what you're doing is you're attacking these pieces, and if they're together and they're touching, you get chain reactions.
Yes.
So you're constantly, so there's skulls, there's treasure, there's dirt, there's potion, and then there's other skeletons, not skulls, and then there's other types of enemies that will start dropping, like poison ones and stuff like that. And your whole thing is every time you fight something, you get hit. So you have to make sure that you're constantly chaining potions to gain health, and you're just trying to make it as far as you can. And that game is tough.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was playing like the first level or what, but it was tough.
Yeah. There was one game you played that, now when we do these things, usually either I play or you play, and when you play, I don't feel bad like I'm missing out on the experience, but there was one game that I really wanted to play that you were playing. I was like, that looks really good. That was the Red Lantern.
Yeah, the Red Lantern. So that one is interesting. So that was announced, I think, last year at some point, and that's essentially you're a musher. You're a woman who decides to give up city life and is just going to go into was it Siberia or Antarctica? I forget where, and just mush and kind of find yourself. You're trying to get to a camp, essentially, and you have your dogs. The dogs all have personalities, and it's like you ride along, and it'll stop and say, and it'll zoom into a gray fox, and she'll talk to herself like, oh, look at him, he's hunting. How does he catch things like that? And then you have choices: let him hunt, try and help him, or hunt him because you can kill him and you have meat. Because you have to, it's a survival game too.
Feed your doggies too.
You gotta feed the dogs. You gotta cook your meat. You gotta feed yourself. You got all this stuff.
Beautiful game.
Gorgeous.
Great lighting too.
Oh,
that lighting was just.
Ashley Birch is the voice actress in it. So yeah, like what you do has consequences. Like one of your dogs loves to chase squirrels, and when she sees a squirrel, she's like, "Uh-oh, I hope he doesn't see it." And then like he will, and then you could tell him, "Okay, go get it." And if he does get it, he'll eat it.
Right.
And he won't need to be fed.
Right.
Or he'll bring it back to you, and you can use it as meat or whatever.
Right.
But it was really good. Like I really enjoyed it a lot. It was short. It was a short demo. They didn't really. I didn't really get to do too much. There were some rough issues with it, like as far as navigation and going left and going right.
The steering didn't seem like it was all together.
Yeah, it was. But I could tell that that's gonna be a good streaming game where you're just like you come up to something.
It's very chill.
Yeah, and you kind of let your stream tell you what they want you to do.
Like, should I kill this little bunny rabbit? Should I let it go?
Yeah.
And I think now, from what I was seeing, the actual shooting parts were all scripted. Did you control any of that? No. Just its own little cutscene. It would just fall over dead. It was the goofiest thing.
Yeah, some of the animations were a little janky, but it'll get there. It was definitely a very ambitious game, so I'm looking forward to it.
You know what was not janky though? By a 2-person dev team, and that's Sakuna of Rice and Ruin.
Sakuna's, I didn't even look at you play that game.
Because you were too busy playing Rune Factory 4 Special, which is out right now on the Switch.
Rune Factory 4 Special. That game was fun too. But why don't you tell us about Sakuna?
Oh my god, it's side-scroll goodness. It's beautiful. It's a lot like it has Smash Bros. Controls, where like it's all directional. So if you attack up, it's an up attack, down, etc. You have a scarf you can pull yourself towards enemies with and jump over them to dodge.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's like you can equip weapons, like, and it's a visual cue on the actual character, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's out later this year, and I want it now. It was that good.
Hopefully.
But again, 2-person team.
Yeah, I mean, and I was playing Rune Factory 4. I mean, it's Rune Factory. I wasn't super familiar with it.
Right.
But the combat was fun. The character, it looked good. It ran really well. But it's essentially a port of a 3DS game. It's up-resed a little bit. It still looked a little fuzzy. But Rune Factory 4. I mean, I know it's got its following. So I mean, if you like Rune Factory, you're gonna like this game. Marriage is still a huge component of it all. There's a bunch of the cutscenes are really cool, which I believe was new to this title. It's all hand-drawn animation cutscenes, which anytime you meet a new character, it does like an introductory cutscene of like maybe 10 seconds of them like being all glistened and stuff like
typical anime
hello,
stuff.
All that stuff. But it was cool. Yeah, I really liked it.
I really enjoyed Devolver's showing this year. A lot of great games at their booth.
Yeah.
I really liked Disc Room. It's a game where this giant circular saw descends upon Jupiter, and you have to go investigate. So you're in these little, you're in these little death rooms, and you have to avoid these spinning discs for a set amount of time, but you have to also be killed by them to clear the room to get to the boss fight.
Interesting.
There's no actual combat, but you actually have to you fight a boss with switches, and it's all puzzle based.
Okay.
In a sense, but ultra brutal from the guy that made Minute, another great game that's
of course.
on
Yeah, that makes
Devolver's
sense now.
catalog. And we saw 2 of the new upcoming Gungeon games: the
God,
arcade
yes.
game and Exit the Gungeon, which is a 2D side scroller spin off of Enter the Gungeon.
Yes. So the whole thing about Exit the Gungeon is you're one of the Gungeoneers, I guess.
Who's at the
And-
bottom of the Gungeon.
Right, you're at the bottom of the Gungeon, and the Gungeon is now collapsing, and because Enter the Gungeon has happened. So now you're trying to exit the Gungeon
Exactly.
from the bottom up. So it's all about going up the map instead of whatever. Right, it's up, right?
It's up because there's elevators going
yeah.
you up. And
Yes,
there's-
yes, and you're just bouncing around. It's the same thing. The guns are evolving.
Yeah, so the gun is actually an evolving weapon. So the better combos you score, the better gun the game gives
Yeah.
you. And the more you suck, like I was doing in our live demo, the worse gun you get.
You get a little pea shooter at the end.
I did get the Earthworm Jim gun. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
neat. And we saw the arcade game.
Yes, and they have an arcade game which is a light gun game.
It's like House of the Dead, but with
Yeah,
Gungeon
House of the
sprites.
Dead with Gungeon. Yeah, it looked really good actually. I actually want to play it. I want to see if I can get.
Well,
my
they're
hands
our
on it
guest on the show coming up pretty soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to talk to those guys. I played Danger Scavenger
yeah,
today at the
in
Polish
the-
booth.
With 7 other awesome games. On
Yeah,
the
there were
booth.
like 7 games there. We only got to play 2 of them because
Right.
our appointment was only half an hour.
Way too many games over there.
Yeah,
But
but Danger Scavenger is a roguelite twin stick shooter, looter shooter really. And the cool mechanic about this is it's it's a building. So you go one floor to the next floor to the next floor. Every 2 floors there's a store where you could buy power ups. Like I had 3 drones circling me that all did different things. One would I think one was a shooter. One shot something, anything I shot, it shot. Another one kind of went on its own, attacking other and aggroing things, and then I think another one was collecting items for me or something.
Right.
And you pick up all different weapons. But the cool thing is, as you're going up, you choose what you want to fight. So you get to a branching path, and one will say lasers, and one will say grenades. So if you pick the lasers one, you're gonna go through a level with all the enemies that have lasers, laser attacks. If you go to the other one, it's the opposite, or it's the grenades. So as you're doing this, the things you're choosing become the attacks that the final boss will also have. So I choose, like on my first one, I chose snipers, grenaders, and that was pretty much it. So like the last boss that I fought, which I did clear my playthrough, was a giant mech that would toss grenades, and he would toss 3 at a time, and then when they would hit, they would make 3 that explode off of it. So he was just chucking these things, and his laser was like, instead of just shooting a laser, it was like a stuck laser. So it would just like follow. He would try and follow you with it. Kicked his ass though. Not gonna lie.
And I think the last game I want to discuss is one of my favorites you saw today, and that's Raw Men.
Raw Men.
Which is a game with the best sales pitch ever. It's about a bunch of naked men throwing hot soup at each other.
Yes.
It is an adult-style Splatoon.
We have to do a community night for
We
this.
do. It is the most crazy, insane, batshit nuts thing you'll ever play in your entire life. It's guys that are wearing aprons, and they're fucking naked, with pots for shields, and they can have crackers as a fucking... You can build cracker walls, and you're just throwing soup at each other. That's the game.
Yeah, like there's different modes. There's like a meatball mode where you have to find a meatball, roll it
A Katamari style, basically.
into a goal on the opposite side. There's your typical death match where you're just slinging soup at each other. I think that's one we played.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we played mouse and keyboard. I feel like I would have been better with a controller on
Me
that
too.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Just doing the abilities for me, because you kind of have to like. bend your
I
pinky
forget
down.
how to type when I play mouse and keyboard. I don't
Yeah.
know where things live anymore. Oh, the
Yeah.
E's over there. That's actually W.
Man, that can't be everything we played, but that's
No,
pretty damn
that's
close to
that's
it.
the highlights. It's a good chunk of highlights.
Yeah. But it was fun. Buzz, I don't know if you're the only one in the chat, but anybody in the chat, if you want to talk, if you want to ask us any questions about PAX, please feel free to do so now. Let us know what you want to talk about. We have our PPE on currently.
Can we discuss the big dick move by THQ taking Sony's spot on the floor?
Yeah, weird.
So we were trying to find THQ for a set of appointments, and that was for Titan and I think some other games. Oh, that was for Wasteland 3 and for Iron Harvest.
Yes. Yes.
So we were trying to track down THQ, and there was like, where the hell are they on the map? And they took over Sony's spot. This big like THQ Nordic logo.
Like not the whole spot,
but a good chunk
because
of
there was
the
still
spot.
a huge empty space there. But
but a big
which makes it way more comfortable. I'm
Right.
sorry, I was super comfortable.
Right, but again, it was just even Matt, who has been going to PAX East since it was ever a thing. It was his slowest Saturday ever. It was it was busy, but it was just a quieter Saturday than other PAX East years prior. The Thursday was really slow, which it is normally.
Yeah, it was dead.
It was like free reign on that Thursday. I felt.
Let me see if we got anything in mailroom or convention coverage. Let's see what people are saying in our Discord.
Yes.
Let's see. Less crowded. Dungeon Defenders. Yeah, I was playing that. Yep. Well, nothing really. Nothing crazy. I'll look at mailbag, see if anything came in there. I don't see anything new. No, nothing new in mailbag. Yeah. So this is gonna be a short one. We're not gonna do anything.
Because we're tired, boys.
We're exhausted.
It's been 3 days of this shit. We got one more to go. It's a half day, but still, it's
half day.
feet are killing us.
But yeah, there's gonna be videos. I'm reaching out to a very good friend of mine who is a video editor. He's gonna see about helping us out. Getting these videos because I have so much B-roll. I have a ton of stuff, and I want to make them better. Than last year. I wanted to get a little bit more traction.
Yeah, more love, more attention, you know.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the Dual Screens Gamescast. This was PAX East 2020 edition. If you want to follow us on social media, we are at NDS Podcast. I am at Batchild27. Andy's at Pansky. And congratulations to us. Over 1,000 followers, finally.
We did it!
Over 1,000 followers. And we finally hit our over 100 YouTube subscribers. So now we could hopefully get our own URL.
Too bad, we're going to die soon anyway.
We're all going down. If you want to support us on Patreon, just like our Patreon producer, Colton the Apprentice Nestler, you can do so by going to patreon.com/NDS podcast, whereas for as little as $1, you get access to our super secret Discord channel and our bonus episode that you get to vote the topic each and every single month. What else we want to say? So yeah, we're going to go back to a regular scheduled program next week. We're probably PAX East Day 4 will probably be a topic.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah. Look forward to the Dual Screens podcast, which is going to post on Thursday. And we should have an Andy Explains It All ready for you on Friday as well.
Oh, shit.
Which is all about Wes Craven. So that should be fun. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. We love you. And as always, please be excellent to each other.